Again, my name is Sandra and I'm back with more business news. Now, following the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus, some foreign financial institutions and the media believe the epidemic will trigger a domino effect on China's economy, which will have a major impact on global supply chain and lead to a downslow in world economic growth. Today, China's GDP accounts for around 16% of the global market and contributes over 30% to world economic growth. So, what is the real impact of the novel coronavirus on China, and is the Chinese embassy actually in Ghana here feeling the impact? That's the question I posed to the spokesperson of the Chinese embassy here in Ghana, Dr. JoyNews.
I believe our economy fundamentals that support China's long-term growth will remain unchanged, and we are capable of minimizing the epidemic's impact on our economy. You see, recently the IMF and World Bank speak highly on the China's economy, and China's efforts to contain the outbreak. So we are confident we have the ability to win the battle, and our economy will not, be reduced sharply by the coronavirus, I think.
Okay, so let's talk about the Ghana-China trade relations.
Okay.
Yes, a lot of Ghanaians travel to China for businesses, and I know some will still come to you. But looking at the past, let's say since the outbreak of the coronavirus and now, has the number dwindled? Has it come down compared to previous months when people were seeking visa to go to China?
I just talked with my colleague in the visa office a few days ago. I think during these days, the people who come to the embassy to apply for the visa has reduced, but not that much. People still have confidence to China's, the control and to the China's economy. So still many people come to the visa office to apply for visa. And for the visa policy, we haven't changed anything there. We just add some hand wash, you see, at the counter of the visa office, just it.
So it means that you've not shut your doors to people seeking visas to go to China, but you put in measures to ensure that.
The place
but
is
again,
secure.
the concern will be that if you issue visa to somebody here in Ghana and a person gets to China, movements cannot be restricted, and so you're not too sure where the person goes or not. So instead of curtailing the situation, are we not likely, by issuing more visas to people, sending people out there who could be exposed to contracting the virus?
That's the policy of our visa office. I'm not so sure whether they will issue more, but I think the people are still going to China. That reflects something, reflects the confidence and the motivation of the people who want to go. Yes, and the airlines, according to my knowledge, the Emirates, they still have flights to Beijing, and the Ethiopian airlines, some major airlines, they still are flying to Beijing, to China from Accra. So I think the road is still there, the way is still there, and our visa office visa policy has not been changed. So people have still got the chance to go.
Has it affected China's revenue from Ghana in any way? Because yes, you get more people.
It must have some impact on our trade relations. You see, in 2018, the trade volume is about 7.2 billion. It's a large number. But for the first season, I think the trade relations will be impacted by the coronavirus issue. But I don't think it will impact so much because people are still going.
Okay, finally, before we go, I mean, this is a huge, I won't say dent on China now in terms of trade, because oil prices are coming down, because they are the largest importer of oil. For instance, airlines are cutting down on trips to China and all that. In all this, how do you hope to come out of this whole issue successfully?
So that's why we hold this interview today, because we'd like to introduce the public, the international community, more knowledge of the situation of our battle with the coronavirus. We want to calm down everyone. We want to calm down the situation because we want everyone to react on a scientific, based on a scientific and rational fundament based on this way. So people should not overreact, I think.
So Ghanaians are still going to China. They are assuring you that measures have been put in place to ensure that you're safe. In other news tonight, with the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, there are still doubts if Ghana's trading community is prepared for the challenges and opportunities ahead. Checks by Joy Business has revealed, even though government is making frantic efforts to ensure smooth takeoff of the CFTA, some industry players appear unaware of the opportunities available to them. In this report by my colleague Charles Aite, he's been engaging some key stakeholders within Ghana's export community on their preparedness.
In July this year, all trade barriers in Africa are expected to be removed to pave way for the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. This will see African economies trade among themselves in a single market which will be created under the agreement.
We know that the success of the AFCFTA would mean that the era of low volumes of intra-regional trade that have defined the activities of African economies will come to an end.
Seated at the heart of the central business district of Accra, this will be the building that houses the Secretariat of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. Previously, it was termed as the Exim House, but now it has been rebranded the Africa Trade House. But ahead of its operation by the end of March this year, we're asking how prepared Ghanaian businesses are.
With the hosting of the Continental Free Trade, a lot of other countries will come together and to trade with other countries in Africa. So seriously, they might also have incentives and low interest rates, and their prices will be more competitive. So how do we put ourselves together to take advantage of this continental free trade and to trade among ourselves as Africans?
But research suggests that neighboring African countries to Ghana will become competitors rather than export market destinations when it comes to most agricultural products. In order to reduce the impact of this, CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, Efuasabi Asari, outlined some cash crops that GEPA will prioritize to give Ghana a competitive advantage.
I'm looking at cashew. I'm looking at some of the fruits and vegetables, our coconuts, our apparel, our arts and crafts. Pharmaceuticals is very big. And then plastics and even our services now. You know, GEPA has a new department for services, and so we are even selling our services. We are bringing in students from around the continent to come and school here because we have some very good universities here, and it's working. We are bringing in, we are sending out nurses. We are doing all kinds of things when it comes to services. So I think services is now important. We should look at services, tourism, all of that.
The Continental Free Trade Agreement area will be the world's largest free trade area with a market size of 1.2 billion people. And of course, in terms of revenue, we're looking at close to $2.5 trillion in gross domestic products. If planned well, Ghana could be raking in billions of cedis in annual GDP, especially when several of its exports are much of high grade. I'm Charles Aite for Joy Business.
Now, crude oil is making gradual recovery, but still hovering below $60 a barrel. It sold today at $56.01 a barrel. That's more in the commodity news update. Before we go, let me remind you that the Multimedia Group is celebrating 25 years of media excellence. We say thank you so much for choosing us. Keep watching Joy News, and now we are free to air and live on your digital TV. So you should also log on to myjoyline.com/business for more business updates. My name is Sandra Esinamafen. Do have a great evening.